and it's about to be party time in Lincoln.
Dillon turns, hands it off to Dowdell, left side, bounces to the outside, 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Dante Dowdell.
Overbeat, deep to right field, way back and way out of here. It's off the light pole in right field. A solo shot for Joshua Overbeat, and it's 10-2 Huskers.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome into the show, everybody. I'm Jessica Coody. Hope you guys had a very happy 4th of July and a great week last week. We missed you guys being on the air last week, but I think it was a nice reset for the rest of us here at HRN to kind of get a breather because, hey, it is around the corner. It's going to be football season. Lots of news to dive into today, and we're waiting on Greg. I was opening up the show. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties. I think he's with us now.
How you doing? How was your 4th?
Okay, good. We got you. It was good. It was nice. My mom came up, actually went to Seward, Nebraska, and experienced that. It was quite the 4th of July celebration, so that was fun. And fireworks. And Sunny Love did not mind the fireworks at all. In fact, she was checking them out, so that was good. It was a successful 4th. How was yours?
Yeah, it was good. That Seward, that's a big-time deal out of Seward. I've been out there multiple times and just have a great time out there. They have a huge parade they put on. It's really a phenomenal deal. So Sunny survived the 4th. This was her first 4th of July, right?
Yes, she did not mind the fireworks at all. Not at all. She was not bothered by them one bit. So that is good moving forward for the rest of her life that I don't have to worry about that because I do know a lot of people's dogs were pretty scared. Your dog, right, is scared of the fireworks?
2 of them. Oliver, the older one, we had to drug pretty good, and he survived okay. The younger one, Marley, isn't bothered by it too much. But, yeah, Oliver had to have a few little pills, calm him down, keep him from jumping all over the house every time one of the big boomers went off. So
this was my mom's this was my mom's first time in Lincoln during the 4th, and she could not believe it. Kind of like my first time. I'll never forget my first 4th of July here about the fireworks and how they go nonstop all day and how it sounds at night, and she was just overwhelmed. But we kind of made a little picnic and sat out and watched a bunch of them, but it's pretty unbelievable. I think the first time you experience Lincoln 4th of July, the people, when they experience it for the first time, it's pretty overwhelming, unlike anything I think either one of us had ever seen before.
Yeah, they do it up big here. A lot of people love getting fireworks and blowing things up, and so it's pretty crazy stuff. Well, speaking of crazy, we got to the weekend and almost to the weekend. Friday, some big news came out as it relates to Husker football, and that was the resignation of Evan Cooper, Huskers defensive backs coach, so popular and such a big part of this Matt Rule staff. He certainly has been kind of at the hip with Coach Rule, going back to their Temple days and then to Baylor, and then he followed into the NFL at Carolina. So a really big shift for Husker football moving forward. And this caught a lot of people by surprise. I certainly was shocked to see this news. That would be one of the last guys, Jessica, that I would have expected to leave this staff. And I don't know the reasons. That's probably never going to come out. That's okay. But that was some pretty earth-shattering news we got on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at Coach Rule's staff, and Evan Cooper's been a part of it. He played for him, was a player for him at Temple, and then joined right away and has been with him every step along the way. Was working with him at Temple, was with him at Baylor, went to the NFL. Then he was one of the guys, him and Corey Campbell were on the flight with Matt Rule when he came here for his introductory press conference. So he just was one of those guys that you just expected to be with Coach Rule, maybe even for the longevity of it. And so I, was pretty shocked. I think for me, I know a lot of people were wanting to know why, what happened. I got a lot of text messages that my mind went immediately to, okay, what's the next move here? Because being that group, which we have chatted a lot about here on this program, is, there's a lot of young defensive backs. They do have some guys that have some experience, but they've got to figure some things out back there on the back end. And so that was for me is, okay, who are you going to get that's going to be able to come in and get right to work and understanding the guys in that room. And there's 28 of them in that room. And so you learning, how to work with those guys, what's needed of that, this defense, all of that. But, I knew that Coach Rule would find the right guy, and he knows what works for him and his coaching staff and the culture that he wants to build and who he's looking for to help, go within what's already been established with a really great defensive staff. And I think they, I know it's not official yet, but I think he made another home run hire out of that.
Yeah, all signs point to John Butler. Nothing official yet from the athletic department. John has worked at Penn State a few years ago. He's been in the National Football League for a while, most recently with the Buffalo Bills. And people that have some kind of semblance to the Bills organization rave about John Butler. So I think this has a chance to be a nice get for Nebraska. You don't love the timing at all, and we're going to have Damon Benning on here in a couple of minutes. You don't like the timing because this doesn't give John Butler or whoever the next defensive backs coach is much time to get to know his guys before this season starts. So it's not ideal, but you do what you can through this process. And the fact that John Butler's name popped up so quickly, Jessica, means you have to have a feeling that Matt Rule has maybe known about this for a couple of weeks because, it was within 24 hours. We were hearing John Butler's name pop up as maybe the lead candidate for this job. So, again, it's, the NCAA just 2 weeks ago passed the rule that you can have some of your graduate assistants step in. I think that's a room that can certainly use some guys that have been around the team during spring ball to help kind of ease this transition from one defensive backs coach to the next.
Yeah, and I go to some of the things you said it. There's a couple of articles that came out. The players that played for John Butler, they love him. Jeremiah Searles texted both of us. He was in Buffalo while Butler was there, loved him. So, there's a lot of guys that have played for him that rave about him. I just, from my conversations that I've had with these players that are in this program now, and even the ones that we interview on signing day, the ones that come in, that transfer in, the whatever position it might be, but a lot of them talk about how this program is run, and it's a program that sets you up for the next level and getting to the NFL. And while not everybody's going to get there, that's how it's ran. And with Corey Campbell and just everything, James Williams told me a couple weeks ago, we had him on the show about how he was learning to be a pro here and just everything how you approach. And I know that that's something that has come up with me a lot in interviews that I've done with players, with recruits, just the NFL ties that was with this staff that came in from Carolina, and then now you're adding another one that has lots and lots of experience in the NFL. I just think that's, for all the things that you talk about with how this program is being built, I think the NFL tie was pretty important there, and just again how they are structured and what recruits are looking for. But I know in this day and age, a lot of programs, if your position coach leaves, you're like, oh no, how are we going to keep the rest of the group together? But that's what I love about the way that this staff is, how they're building this program is it's not just about one guy. They don't just have relationships with one guy, and it's not even just with the coaching staff and the staff and even the player development guys and the guys like Gus Felder and the long list of guys that it's a family, but it's also a player-led program. We've heard Coach Rule talk about that so many times, about wanting to get to that where this is player-led and it's player-driven, and there's those relationships, and it's not just about your position group, it's about across the team. And I think you saw immediately Isaac Gifford, Jamari Butler, some of those leaders step up and say that. And so I think that's where maybe in the past I might have been worried, like, oh no, there's going to be some guys leave because of that relationship, which certainly the guys in that room are close to Evan Cooper. But I think because there are so many strong ties beyond just to the position coach, and that's across the board, I worry less about that here just because of how it's being built, where they're tied to and really invested in more than just a position coach. Whereas at a lot of other programs, this could be a really, really tough deal for them to handle and navigate.
You mentioned 28 players. All 28 think they're going to the NFL, right? I mean, they're not, but they all think they are. And so that's attractive to be with a guy that has been in the National Football League for the last 8 to 10 years like John Butler has. And again, we're kind of assuming here that he's going to be the new DB's coach. But, yeah, he's got a month to kind of get up to speed with these guys, who they are, what they do, get to learn their personalities a little bit again. All of it's not ideal. And, this is the one thing. Football coaches don't like any distractions, particularly this time of year as you get closer to camp. And, Jessica, we're within the same month as camp's going to open. I mean, they report on the 30th. Today's the 8th. We're 3 weeks out from this football team getting together and starting camp. It's crazy how fast that goes. You get past the 4th of July, and it goes. But I think we'll have some news, official news on John or whoever the new DB's coach is going to be in the next couple of days. We got a fabulous show lined up for you tonight. Damon Benning going to come by and give us his thoughts about this recent news for Husker football. It is big news, so we're going to hear DB's thoughts coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Then next hour, we're going to hear from one of the new Husker basketball players for Fred Hoiberg. Is it Raley Wooster? Jess, is that how we say it?
Raley Wooster.
Love it. Point guard from Utah. So we're going to hear from Rollie as Jessica continues her series of interviews with some of the new Cornhuskers that are making their way into our volleyball program, our women's basketball program. And this will be our first one to hear from the men's basketball program coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Also in hour number 2, Emily Wong, one of the great gymnasts in Husker history, going into Husker Hall of Fame this fall. She was part of the class announced a few weeks ago. We're going to sit down with Emily, a North Dakota product who just wowed the folks at the Devaney Center during her career. Multi-time All-American. Looking forward to chatting with Emily on the program here as well. Husker fans, check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Get signed up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive Perks pricing on hundreds of items in-store and online. Score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee, an official grocer partner of Husker Athletics, and they are your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Go visit your local Hy-Vee today. We're back with DB coming up next.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here. I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all-electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sap Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sap Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sap Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Ford SUV season sales event is here at Woodhouse Ford, and it's the perfect time to find a new Ford SUV for all your summer adventures. Woodhouse Ford offers many models to choose from and amazing features like the Ford Co-Pilot 360, Ford Blue Cruise, Sync 4 infotainment system with Apple CarPlay, and so much more. Go and visit Woodhouse Ford at any one of our 3 convenient locations in Omaha, Blair, and Plattsmouth.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Well, nobody better to talk about Husker football than Damon Benning joins us tonight. How was your fourth? You got all your digits? Everything okay? No accidents?
Yeah, I'm okay. Everything's good. I'm not a huge fireworks guy. I'm probably more the guy just to watch. But I'm not, a get off my lawn guy either. So people can have their fun. I have a hard enough time making money. I certainly just don't want to blow it up.
I'm with you. Pull the lawn chair out, plop it on the driveway, and watch everybody else. That's my deal.
Yep, mine too. I'm right there with you.
Damon, there's a commercial playing right now it's boring is good. Boring is that's got to be the motto of every football coach in the summer, right? Boring. I want nothing of news. And I thought we were going to get away with an off-season of that, and then Friday came. Give me your initial reaction to the Evan Cooper news on Friday.
Yeah, it was tough. It's tough on a multitude of levels. Obviously, he and I have a really good working relationship. He's been to our high school several times. He's been to my house a couple. The wives have spent time together when he's come to some of the high school games. My daughter Zoe is a huge fan of his daughter, so it's a personal deal, and obviously he's somebody that was heavily involved in recruiting Caleb, and so it's a little more personal than normal for me. I can usually shake those kinds of things off, but I knew this one, it felt a little different.
When you played, you guys didn't have much turnover at the coaching staff. Yeah. This has got to be kind of hard on the young men in the room, I would think. I mean, they've developed relationships, whether through recruiting or just playing for Coop the last couple of years. It's got to shake those young men up a little bit, I would think.
Yeah, you're 100. You're spot on, and I think, it's even so much as to say he was so heavily involved in recruiting and, the recognition of players to start with. They met him. A lot of those guys that aren't just DBs met Coach Coop early on in their career. And so you're right. That room had a lot of his vibe. I've sat in enough of those defensive back meetings to know that they kind of took on his personality. And he's the only voice that those guys have heard, right? I mean, that's what you get when you've only been someplace less than 2 years, and he's been there since the inception. So it's the only voice they know, and they do have a lot of his personality. And so, we'll see what happens going forward.
How much is that room going to rely now on some of the leaders, the Gifts, the Tommy Hills, the Singletons, the guys that have been around and played some college football to say, we're fine, we're okay, let's keep doing our workouts, let's keep the goal in mind of going and winning games this fall?
No, that's going to be huge. And it's a good thing they do have some veteran guys like Giff and Singleton, and even Buford to some degree, who has a really good relationship with that staff and has got that charismatic personality. But, it's going to be big. And I think those guys will have to take some leadership roles because not everybody – can be a leader. Some have to be good followers as well. And that's kind of the underlying unintended consequence when you have turnover like this, is you have to kind of know the pecking order and take some self-awareness to know kind of where you fit in. And even with Coach Butler, he's going to be like that to some degree. I mean, he obviously has to get hit the ground running, but to get a little bit of the lay of the land, I think, will be very important, especially from a trust standpoint with the players. So those veterans will be counted on more than ever. And this is, people hate to use the word, but this is when like your culture takes over. You have to. Your environment has to be one in such a way where it can take on a little bit of water and not sink the ship. So they'll be put to the test here pretty quick.
Damon Benning joining us here on Sports Honey on the Huskers Radio Network. All signs are pointing, no official announcement yet on Coach Butler. If that ends up being true, it looks like a heck of a hire. And I've talked to some people in NFL circles that rave about this guy, Damon. It looks like this could be a pretty good get for Matt Rhule and Tony White to add that kind of veteran voice to the room.
Yeah, if you were going to have to overcome something, like this, you want to be able to do it with a quality coach like this. And you're right, we just have the initial reports to go on, nothing official from the university. But if it turns out to be this way, then you get a guy that has spent time in the college game. Obviously it was 10 years ago, but he's got that experience. He's had a ton of success. I looked at the article the other day in the Athletic, just from hey, who is this guy again, that they did in the New York Times. Tim Graham, I think, was the author, about how the players felt about his departure when he wasn't named defensive coordinator. And I think he seems like a guy, Greg, that is he's got good command and good presence. From what all intents and purposes, he was around some of the guys on Sunday night for their player meeting, and I think a guy that commands the room, fiery guy, and tremendous football knowledge. And you hit the nail. I like the fact you brought in Coach White too, because I think that's important. It's not just a Coach Rhule decision. Nobody knows more about that Nebraska defense than Tony White, and I think for those two to be able to work in tandem to figure out what's best for the program, you needed Coach White's input, right? He's going to be the one to teach the language, the transition, the know-how, if you will. And so I do think Nebraska's in good hands with both Coach Rhule and Coach White. Both guys have a tremendous Rolodex.
Damon, I've heard a lot of former players say that once the 4th of July comes and goes, as a football player, the light on your head goes in and going, we're close. We're close to camp open, and we're close to all this stuff that we worked all winter and spring to get ready for. Were you that way? Was there a moment in the calendar you're like, it's almost go time, let's get after it?
Yeah, 100%. And these guys actually open early this year. They start camp in July, so it is really of the essence. But, we always, the 4th of July was like we were so paranoid, Sharpe. We wouldn't come back on that Sunday. We'd come back on the Saturday, the weekend, just to give you and get settled in. You didn't want to come back at the last minute and then start those workouts. So you knew you were going to have a couple of days after the 4th, but you didn't stay gone the whole time. You tried to come back and get close, and it is really close. I mean, camp is going to open here in 3 weeks. Right, that's the end of July, if I remember right. Is it the 28th? Yeah. So you're coming back from Big Ten Media Days. You unpack, you get your protocol and your regimen, and you're going to hit the ground running. It is right around the corner.
How about you? You ready?
I am. I'm excited. This is a big year. I love the schedule. We get to start out in the friendly confines of home. That means you and I and Jess will get to spend some time together, Super Russ, and be around some football. I love the start of fall and camp. It's my favorite time of the year. I am definitely looking forward to it.
Well, this team's got there was a lot of juice coming out. There's a lot of the magazines. I don't know how much stock you put into that, but there's a lot of national people that feel like this could be a breakout year for the Huskers. Now, they got to go do it, right? I mean, you just can't live off those writings. They mean they mean nothing once we kick this thing off on the 31st, but you can kind of sense it being around the program, that there's a good feel about this team and what could be ahead of us in the coming months.
Yeah, I think it starts internally, both literally and figuratively, with both offensive and defensive lines coming back almost intact with some depth. You feel really good about the interior, right? What's going on close to the line of scrimmage. And, you know, we saw a developing and blooming wide receiver core. We're going to try to build off that secondary that had some success last year. And, of course, you get Dylan Raiola and company in that quarterback room. So you've had some upgrades and you're mature. You know, you're over 100 and you have the most starts of any offensive line unit. And you'll be comparable along the D-line as well because you can play 6 or 7 guys. So anytime you're built through the middle and close to the line of scrimmage, you give yourself a chance for a level of excitement. And you bring in a 5-star quarterback who's just getting started. It's easy to see.
How does Coach Rollie and Sat and Coach Thomas, how do they try to keep pushing Dylan but not overload him? I mean, there's a lot. The expectations are sky high for this young man to come in and be a bit of a savior of the program. As coaches, how do you approach him and not overload him too much?
Yeah, when you're a young guy and even an old guy or gal, you want to start by winning the practice, right? You want to. I know it sounds like coach speak, but it's a tangible benchmark that you can go get. You want to be better today than you were yesterday. You want to be better in the next session than you were the previous session. And so when you start to command that kind of standard for yourself while you're building around the quarterback spot, it has this way of taking pressure off you. You know, I say it all the time, right? Pressure's a privilege. But when you prepare yourself, you're just anxious you're waiting for the opportunity. You're like, okay, I know that I've prepared well. They've tried to build this thing around me, right? They bulked up the wide receiving core. They've got depth in the running back room. You have an infinite number of starts along your offensive line. I think you just keep instilling, hey, you be the best version of yourself. Let your teammates take care of the rest. I think that's the best way to keep it in check.
DB, a couple weeks ago, the athletic department announced their Hall of Fame class highlighted by Ndamukong Suh. When you hear that name, what thoughts pop into your mind?
Dominant. He was as good an interior lineman as I've seen in that stadium maybe ever. I mean, he's got some company, right? He's not in that neighborhood by himself. And, you know, there's the Glovers and the Peters. And I mean, there have been some tremendous interior defensive linemen at the University of Nebraska. But he was so diligent. He's extremely bright. I mean, for a violent guy, such a violent guy between the white stripes, he's so intelligent off the field. And I always liked that combination. You know, he never said much, but man, was he a presence and a dominant one at that.
Hard to take over games at that position, but by golly, he did it.
He's incredible. You know, I remember Waco. I remember Columbia, Missouri. He just would impose his will, and he works so hard, right? For as highly touted as he was coming out of high school, he's a good lesson on being patient, right? He got off to a little bit of a slow start with the system, and then he had the surgery, and, you know, he had the really, really dominant year and a half. But, you know, there were some whispers like, man, when is Suh going to turn out to be the guy? He's got a great story to tell, and what better one to tell of a guy that has been as dominant in a college football season as maybe anybody's Nebraska seen.
Phenomenal. I think he's one of the top 30 players of all time in college football, and that's saying a lot. All right, DB, media days are coming up. Last year I dropped a couple of dark horses on you. I'm doing my homework. I'm going to have a couple more for you, so buckle up. You're going to hear the Sharpie's dark horses here in a couple weeks.
I love it. I learned a ton in the time we spent together last year, and I was on your coattails too on a couple. We'll see if you need to convince me or I'm already on the good side.
Love it. Thank you, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Okay, buddy. Good to talk to you.
There he is, Damon Benning, joining us on our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Jessica will rejoin me next.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Experience luxury car buying like never before with Genesis of Southwest Omaha. Browse our full range of SUVs that combine power and versatility, like the 2024 Genesis GV80, packed with an array of safety and tech features that ensures confidence and comfort on every journey. Or explore our lineup of exceptional sedans that offer unparalleled elegance and sophistication. Get started online at southwestomahagenesis.com and shop our current offers happening right now, or visit our showroom at Village Point today.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Folks interested in working at Memorial Stadium on Husker game day? Well, then join us on our in-person hiring event. It's called Staff Draft. Coming up here in just a couple of days, July 10th and 11th, we're hiring ticket takers, ushers, parking staff, much more. So come to Memorial Stadium and join the Husker event staff. For more information and to get pre-registered, please go visit huskers.com/event staff. Also, Wednesday is a deadline to get you register for the road race, which is coming up on Sunday. There are two versions. There's a 1 mile and a 5K. So if you're not a big runner, you can do the mile. It goes for pediatric brain cancer. We're going to hear more about that later in the week from a couple of Husker football players. They've been at this for about 10 years now, and it's a nice little fundraiser for a wonderful cause. So the road race sneaking up on us, Jessica. We're 6 days out from that road race.
Yeah, always such a fun time and means so much to this program. So it is coming up this week, and we're going to talk a little bit about that coming up this week with hopefully a couple of football players. But it's fun to see how involved they get and just how much they embrace it, and it's so much fun. Even just the event, I've been out there the last couple of years and just seeing the program all come together, but how they interact with the kids. We've talked about this every year, but it's really the one event that you can really spend some time interacting with the football players, just because, at the fan day, it's kind of quick. You just go through the autograph line. You're trying to get through quickly and get as many signatures as you can, and the lines are moving. But this is really a chance to really interact, and so it's a neat event and also a great cause. And Team Jack obviously means a lot to this program.
There was a big Team Jack golf tournament in town today. I know Rex and a bunch of those guys were back for that. If you want to register for that race, go to Huskers.com/road race. And again, Wednesday, the deadline for that. So it's fast approaching for that race coming up here. And it starts and ends at Memorial Stadium. Pretty cool deal. Jessica, I was talking to DB, and I brought the name Deshaun Singleton. I think it's easy to forget Deshaun didn't take part in spring workouts because of some injury situations that he had, but he was playing some really good football last year for Nebraska, and I think he's going to be a big key on that secondary as we go into the fall.
I'm telling you what, Greg, I have not forgot about him, and neither has Jeremiah Searles. We have talked about him a lot because he's a guy, Searles is not really a fan of DBs, but he loves Deshaun Singleton because of the way he will come in and be physical, how he tackles. I think they struggled a little bit when he left, the lineup and was hurt, and you could tell how much he meant to that secondary, and they were trying to figure out how to move on without him in there. But I don't think we've forgotten about him. I think he's going to be a big part. He has the look of like an NFL type DB, and he's got a lot. We saw a lot of great flashes from him a year ago. They wanted to be cautious with him because he was such a big part to this defense, and so they held him out of spring ball. But I think he's going to be a really, really big part, a big piece, and he's super talented. So I can't wait to see him come back, and I'm glad that they had enough depth throughout spring and I'm sure with a lot of those guys, they feel like they're ready to go, but hey, there's no need. Let's be cautious. Let's get you right. Because remember, throughout the year last year, we thought maybe he might be able to come back, but hey, you take your time, you get him right, and I think he's going to come back better than ever.
Single-digit guy last year, right? I mean, so now we're going to see. It's going to be fascinating. I'm really fascinated to see if the guys who got him last year keep him, or does some of that get changed a little bit this year. That'll be fun. And again, that starts when they get camp going. They usually announce a couple right away and then move on. But I think people forget he was a single-digit guy, so he certainly had the respect of his teammates.
So you're losing. Okay, so you lose Quentin Newsome, Luke Reimer, Nick Henrich, Jeff Sims, Billy Kemp. So you got 5 guys that'll have new numbers or move into the single digits. I think that the ones that had them will keep them. Because John Bullock, how many times have we heard his name come up about his leadership and how much he stepped into that with the departure of Luke and Nick? You have Nash. He's going to keep his. Ty is going to keep his. And then Deshaun would be the one guy there. But I think he's been a great leader. I think he's been involved. He was one of those guys that was a captain for the Nebraska Spring League. So I think the ones that are coming back that have them will keep them. It's just going to be interesting. I think John Butler is going to be one that gets a single digit. Isaac Gifford is going to keep his, no doubt about it. So who are the guys that are going to move into that? That's what I'll be watching. And think about how many defensive players had them last year. So will there be some offensive guys that get them? Offensive linemen can't wear them. So Ethan Piper was an honorary single digit, but we'll maybe Fedoni or one of those veteran wide receivers move into that. We'll see. But it's going to be, I think there's a lot of good candidates for those open single digit numbers. I do think the ones that had them will keep them.
Does a quarterback get a single digit? That's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I don't know, unless honestly, just because of the way that he's well-liked and has embraced being more of a leader, maybe Heinrich, but I don't know if the freshman will get one.
Yeah, that might be kind of tough jump at.
I should probably dive into when Coach Rule and the staff were doing it at Baylor, if there were true freshmen they got it, or if it was more of the upperclassmen that have been around and have been those leaders. But I just don't know. It's less about the quarterbacks and more so that they're so young. I could see maybe just because it's just such a leadership, and it's not just about what you do on the football field. It's everything across the board, and it's going back to what you did in January, throughout the summer, even through fall camp. And I do remember last year that they had multiple votes, and they were released a few at a time. And I do think by the third vote, the vote changed, and so there was a different guy that moved into it. So a guy could even maybe step in and earn that single digit after what they've done throughout fall camp. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has probably been set, but then probably maybe a couple other guys could emerge throughout fall camp.
Want to give out some huge congrats to a couple former Husker basketball players. Casey Tominaga has made the Japanese Olympic team, and Jack McVeigh, Jack McTray as Kent used to call him, on the Australian national team. That is so cool. Happy for both of those guys. We have quite a few Olympians, Jess. A lot on track and field that are competing for their own country. And here's Casey and Jack. That's awesome. And then you got Ty Lue, who's an assistant coach for Team USA. So you got a lot of Husker representation for the Olympic basketball tournament. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, so much fun. I cannot wait to see Casey in the Olympics. He is going to light it up. I know he's going to have a lot of fans. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to see. And then you mentioned the track athletes, lots of representation there. Was so happy to see Tyus Wilson do his thing at the Olympic trials. A lot of the Huskers, I watched a ton of it, and my parents were up here at the time too, and we were going through it, and how many times, because if you're college athletes, you're wearing your colors or your college uniform, but how many times they were saying Nebraska, 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 and this is a guy from Nebraska, this athlete's from Nebraska, and then, yeah, here you go. How good is that for recruiting? Because we've been talking about the NFL, but for these track athletes, that's the ultimate goal. And now they're producing a lot of these athletes that are going, while they're still have eligibility left in college, going to make noise at the international level and even maybe make Olympic teams. That's a big, big recruiting pitch.
No doubt. So congratulations to both those guys. Again, it's a selling point for the program to say we've got some Olympians that are playing, and we, putting guys in the NBA. Olympians, by the way, Bryce McGowan's let go by Carolina. I think he'll stick somewhere. I think Bryce did enough stuff, Jessica, to other teams in the league. I bet he gets picked up by somebody.
Yeah, he'll find a team. He's got a unique skill set. I know that he was projected so high, and that was a goal of his, and he started playing well, but I think he was a guy that probably could have benefited one more year in college and really get stronger and bigger and figure out how to play at that level. He was up and down between the G League. He had some great flashes, but he'll find a spot. He has the skill set that can be successful. He needs to find the right team and continue to grow and develop, but I just still think he's so green. He's still pretty thin and skinny, and needs to put on probably get a little bit stronger and work on his outside shot a little bit more, but I think he'll absolutely be able to continue. He's so young still. He's so young, so he will still absolutely be able to have a long career in the NBA. There's no doubt about it. He's just got to find a team now.
Would he be 21 maybe now? 22 tops?
That was his second year, right?
He's been out 2 years.
So he left after one and done, so he was 18, 19, maybe 21.
Yeah.
Yeah,
young
so
guy.
he's very young.
Yeah, very good. So, yeah, kudos again to Jack and Casey. That's fantastic. It's going to make me watch more Olympic basketball. I know that. The Olympics start the 26th. From Paris, and so here we are again, July the 8th. We're not that far away from that getting cranked up as well. All right, 402-413-2400. If you want to fire off a text to us, you want to be a part of the program here tonight. Coming up next hour, we're going to hear from one of Fred Hoiberg's newer players into the program, Ronnie Wooster, who played at Utah last year. He's a point guard. He and Aaron Eulis are going to hold down that point guard position for the Cornhuskers. looking forward to that. And we're going to hear from Emily Wong also in hour 2, one of the new Hall of Famers for Husker Athletics. Our Woodhouse Auto family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Back with our final segment of hour 1 next.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Husker fans, the 2024 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $170. This plan includes tickets to UTEP or Northern Iowa, plus Illinois or Rutgers, and either UCLA or Wisconsin. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Discover a better car buying experience with Woodhouse Hyundai. Shop online to explore our extensive lineup of versatile SUVs, like the 2024 Hyundai Kona, featuring a sleek design, impressive fuel efficiency, and advanced technology, ready to enhance your driving experience. When you shop Woodhouse Hyundai, you can rest easy with Hyundai Shopper Assurance, America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get started online at woodhousehyundai.com today and explore our current offers going on right now. This is Woodhouse Hyundai.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back, folks. We're glad to be back with you. We haven't had a show in about 10 days. We took last week off. Hope you enjoyed some of our greatest games that we played for you last week. I know my batteries are a little more recharged. Yes, I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yes, I do. It was nice. Got some stuff done at the apartment and saw my mom. My mom came up, and yeah, it was nice. And I'm ready to go. I feel recharged, and sometimes during this time you're like, oh my gosh, it's almost football season. It's so close, but I'm ready for it. I'm excited. I feel rejuvenated. I'm ready to go. And I'm excited about this team. I had some time because we weren't doing shows and a bunch of interviews. I went back and listened to a few of the interviews that Coach Rollie has done nationally, and you could just get a sense how much he likes his team. And even when I was visiting with players throughout the last couple of weeks, it's just it just feels different. And so I'm really excited, and I'm excited to see how it just comes together. And I know certainly not the news that you would want at this time of the year over the weekend with Cooper leaving and that replacement, but I have complete confidence they'll figure it out. But I'm excited. I'm ready to go, and yeah, much needed break, but I am rested, recuperated, ready to roll.
Terrific interview by Joel Klatt. I'm a big Joel Klatt guy. I really like him a lot. He had a sit down with Coach Rollie. If you haven't seen it, I think it's worth your time to go back and listen to it. They dive into what he learned from failure at Carolina. And he said, you know what? He goes, if I didn't have Carolina, I don't know that I was ready to handle a job like Nebraska, because, I mean, in a lot of ways, the Nebraska football job is like an NFL job with the amount of media attention at press conferences. You go to a lot of big-time football programs in the country, and there's not the number of media that are at a Husker press conference. So I think that was an interesting point, and I think we all do. I think we all kind of learn from when things don't go well. We learn how to not make those same mistakes again. And so I thought that was a fascinating interview. But we're in the talking season. I'm going to be ready for the actual season. Trying to pump the brakes a little bit. I did go out, Jess, and I bought about the Holy Grail over 4th of July weekend, so I've been doing my studying up and getting ready.
I saw that come across, and I bet Greg's already got his Phil Still magazine.
You know me so well.
That's like Christmas morning for you when that thing comes out.
I mean, I had my nose in it for about 8 hours the other day. So as I told DB earlier in the hour, I always pick out some surprise teams that I think are going to be better than you think, or teams that aren't going to be as good as you think. And we like to compare notes and see how we did at the end of the season. So I'm compiling my list for that.
Love it. Was there anything that stood out to you about this year's magazine besides the sleeper picks?
Yeah, Nebraska is pretty high on the sleeper pick. I'm going to give you one that's not going to be nearly as good. It's the Washington Huskies. I think they take a big-time step back from the national championship game to a team that I think might struggle to make a bowl game. With the shakeup of their coach, we get their AD. So, I mean, we took a little bit away from them there with Troy Dannon coming to Lincoln. But I think Washington's going to struggle this year. I just think it's going to be them adapting to a new league, pretty tough schedule. I think they're going to have a hard time kind of fighting up there. I'll keep my surprise teams on the other side secret for a few more weeks. But it's always fun to do that. I don't have the schedule in front of me, Jess, but I think we have a soccer game, maybe a exhibition game in less than 30 days when John Walker's team takes the field for the first time. How about that?
Speaking of a coach that you could tell really likes his squad, that's another coach around here that really likes his squad going into this year. And I know it is tough to replace a scorer like Ellen Ordell. She had a historic season last year, but they got some young talent. They got a lot of players back, and that made the Elite Eight run, know how to win, know what it takes, won the regular season Big Ten title. And then I think he's got some young talent coming in, maybe a couple transfers, but you could just tell he's pretty excited about this group too. I cannot wait for that group, because once you get a taste of that success and then you build on it and you expect it, and I think fans got excited about that group. We started a Top Husker Moments countdown, and soccer made it to the Elite Eight, or soccer's Elite Eight made it to the Elite Eight. So, you could tell that fans are really excited about that group, and there's a lot of Nebraska kids, a lot of players from this state that are on that roster, and so it's an exciting group, and I think it's going to be a year that they can build off of what they did a year ago.
Yeah, our good friends at Midwest Dairy put together this bracket challenge to look back at last year. There were so many amazing moments, and then Social put out a video, I think it was yesterday, kind of highlighting a lot of those moments that are now part of the bracket challenge. And Matt Rural retweeted and said, now it's our turn to help out. And there's some truth to that. I mean, a lot of sports did really well last year. The exception was football. And so it's kind of football's turn to kind of step up and start winning some things here.
And I love that they're being fueled by that, and we saw over the last 2 years, how much they've been at all the sporting events, supporting the sports. I did a sit down with Julie Roll, and she had talked about how much her daughters are just eat up with it. Which sporting event can we go to tonight? And so I think, then going to the wrestling. I talked to Terrence Knighton about that, and just how much that fuels this football program, I think, is really cool too. So they're going to, I think, certainly do their part this year.
1 hour in the books. We got another hour coming up. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraskachiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Good evening, I'm Greg Sharpe. Tonight's Sports Ticker brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. A pair of former Husker basketball players have made their country's Olympic team. Keisei Tominaga was named today as a member of the Japanese squad, and Jack McVeigh has been picked for the Australian team. Couple that with former Husker Tyronn Lue being an assistant coach for Team USA. It assures Nebraska quite the representation in the upcoming games in Paris starting July 26. There is still time for you to get signed up for the annual Nebraska Football Road Race, which is this Sunday. There's both a 1-mile run and a 5K. It'll start at Memorial Stadium at 8 a.m. Proceeds from the race go to pediatric brain cancer. To get registered online, go to huskers.com/road race. That's open until Wednesday. Nebraska Athletics announced today that 1890 is their official NIL partner. And with that now will make you eligible for Husker Athletics Fund priority points when you donate to 1890. Also, contributors will be calculated into Husker Athletic Fund membership levels, including Nebraska's Leadership Society annual and lifetime memberships. Some afternoon baseball finals. The Pirates beat the Mets 8-2. The Cardinals smoked the Nationals 6-0. The rest of the baseball action under the lights. Week 2 at Wimbledon is underway. Multi-time winner Novak Djokovic punched his way into the round of 8 with a straight sets victory in the Sweet 16. The 1890 Initiative helping Husker student athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. Go to 1890nebraska.com. Now get ready for the final hour of tonight's Sports Highlight here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium. It's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
First pitch to Evans. Cole swings and hits one in the air to center. That's hit pretty well. Matheson going back to the wall. That ball is gone. Cole Evans is the hero. On senior night, a walk-off 3-run homer by Cole Evans. And it's about to be party time in Lincoln.
Dillon turns, hands it off to Dowdell, left side, bounces to the outside, 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Dante Dowdell.
Overbeek, deep to right field, way back and way out of here. It's off the light pole in right field. A solo shot for Joshua Overbeek, and it's 10-2 Huskers.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Back for hour number 2, Sports Highlight. We got a great hour coming up. We're going to talk a little men's basketball with Rollie Wooster, one of the new members of Fred Hoiberg's team, and we're going to hear from a Hall of Famer, Emily Wong, amazing gymnast for the Cornhuskers. Interesting that this class has 3 or 4 athletes from the same era, that early 2010 era. Emily Wong, Mary Weatherholt, great tennis player who we're going to hear from later on in the week, and Dominican played up to 2009. So there's a handful of them that are same era of athletes, and we'll hear from Emily coming up here in just a little bit. I got to tell you, Jessica, if I had to kind of put together the 3 or 4 sports that I really enjoy in the Summer Olympic Games, women's gym might be one for me. I get locked into that, and the scoring and all that. I just love watching that.
I do too. Speaking of, did you see the drama? I think it was Michaela Skinner went on and did this whole spiel about how the gymnastics isn't the same, and they had 2 falls and weren't deserving. It just kind of bad-mouthing the team, and I would probably say, I'm no gymnastics expert, but this is probably the best team they've ever had. Every time around, it's the best team that Team USA has ever had, it seems like. So it's pretty crazy to hear that. Yes, and just the things that these athletes are doing now, and watching Simone Biles, it is just unbelievable. And she's 27, which is ancient in gymnastics days. So, you know, and the fact that she's got over, I remember you and I were sitting here talking about the twisties and everything she was going through the last Olympics, but I really enjoy watching gymnastics. I love watching track and field, and swimming though is number 1 for me. Will always be will always be number 1 for me, and then volleyball, of course. And I like sand volleyball too.
The beach is fun to watch, isn't it? Particularly the 2-on-2. You know, you're right about the last Olympics were only 3 years ago because of COVID. So we went 21 down to 24. I believe it's 4 of the 6 women's gymnasts are repeats from 21. That's really odd, too. That's really, really rare for the United States.
Well, it's 4 of the 5, and then,
4 of the 5.
Yeah, because they have the 5 now, and so 4 of them were on last year's Olympic team. And so there's only one newbie. Hesley is her name. She's 16 years old. Is not even, I watched an interview the other day. She's not even driving yet because her 16th birthday was during the trials or leading up to the trials. So she hasn't even been able to go take her driver's test yet because she's been trying to get it on the Olympic team. So crazy.
That's amazing. Emma Spence, I believe, is an alternate for Team Canada.
And Chenge Bakshwe is on Team Hungary. She qualified on the vault last summer, so she's been qualified for a while. So, yep, there is going to be a Husker representative for gymnastics, too.
Well, we couldn't get the boss to approve your trip over there. I tried.
You know, that would have been awesome. I've got family members that are going, and they bought tickets to see. They're actually going to see volleyball. My cousin played volleyball in college at New Mexico State, but they had to get in this lottery to be able to even pick. And you can only select like a few at a time, and so they had their choices, and one of them, they actually got volleyball. That was one of their number 1 picks. So they're going to go watch volleyball. I can't remember I'll have to ask her which sports they're going, but that's a bucket list for me. I definitely want to do that. Maybe when it's back around next year, but I know you have to get your tickets, and so you don't even know who you're going to get to see when they play, or when they compete, but you have to get it so far in advance. That's would be an event right up there. The Ryder Cup, Olympics are both 2 bucket list sporting events I would like to go to.
Los Angeles, 28, and Oklahoma City. 2 events, as we talked about.
Yep.
Cool. Well, tonight we continue Jessica's series of interviews with new athletes coming to Husker sports and our prime sports. And tonight we dive into men's basketball. The Huskers picked up a point guard from Utah, Rollie Wooster.
When you enter the transfer portal, take me through that decision process and why Nebraska was the right fit for you to play your final college season.
Yeah, I think for me, I just needed something new, something different for my 5th year. I love my time at Utah and with all those guys I played with and the staff, but I just want something different, new experience, and kind of be able to branch outside of my role and what I've done in the past. And I think I have an opportunity to do that, improve a little more out of myself. And I just think, for me, needing that, and then Nebraska, it's actually funny, my family's diehard Nebraska fans, and actually from Lincoln and other areas of Nebraska. So growing up being a Nebraska fan, didn't have something to do with it until I knew I was coming here because I wanted to make the best choice for me, but definitely enhanced everything a little bit, but just the fit and talking with Coach Hoiberg and some of the guys on my visit and just really feeling at home right away. And like I'd have an opportunity here that would see eye to eye with myself and the coaches.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I read you grew up a Husker football fan, right? So what's it like walking around the stadium now and wearing that Husker gear?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think nobody loves it more than my grandpa, but it's been fun. It's kind of a surreal moment, just growing up watching the games. I came to a couple games on Thanksgiving when I was little, and just knowing the diehard community and fan base here has been fun.
So what was that conversation like when you called your grandpa then and told him you were going to be a Husker?
Oh, it was great. Right after my visit, he was like, I know what I would do, kind of joking around, but it was an awesome moment. And I think just for myself and whole family to just be able to have an opportunity like this, we're super thankful.
We talked to Coach Hoiberg a couple weeks ago, and he said that already you've been in the gym, you've made improvements to your shot, found a couple things to tweak. What was that process like working with him and figuring out some of the things that you could do to improve that shot?
Yeah, it was great. I think for me, it's little things. There's nothing majorly wrong, nothing like that. I think it was just tweak little things, and then coming from a guy who has experience as himself and everyone else on the coaching staff, made it really easy. And just getting in, watching film, really breaking it down has helped me just build my confidence up more as well.
So have you already found that there's been a big difference made just in the past month or so?
Yeah, I think I feel a lot better. I mean, I've always been able to shoot. I know the percentages might not show that necessarily, but I think it's one of those things that takes more confidence and opportunities and building that trust with yourself and your coaches and the rest of the team to just go out and, you know, pull it or whatever. Just be confident in yourself.
Coach Hoiberg also said, you know, one of the things about you is you're an all-around player, that you contribute in every way possible. What went into that for you? How important was that emphasis to be someone that can do a little bit of everything on the court?
Yeah, I think it's really important, especially my position, whether it's get others involved, make the hustle play, rebound. I think it's big to rebound as a guard as well. So I think I bring some of those things to the table, and I've always prided myself on playing the game the right way. So I think that's something that I think this team, everyone brings, but I think I can bring even more of that as well.
You know, I know teammates in the past have said, too, just how unselfish you are and you like to distribute the basketball. Take me through that process of becoming that true point guard that wants to distribute and get guys in the right place and make sure that they're in the best positions to succeed.
Yeah, I think it's just, again, making the right play and then being able to have court vision. I think playing multiple sports growing up has helped me with that. And then I grew up in the sports family, so we usually pride ourselves on having an IQ as well on the floor or field, whatever it is. So I think being able to use that not only to find shots for myself but find others has been key to my game and winning.
So if there's a parent or a young player that listens in, and how do you become that all-around player where you're rebounding, you're distributing the basketball, you're making good passes, you're scoring, all-around player? What goes into that over the course of really a lifetime of getting in the gym?
Yeah, I think one thing is, like you said, get in the gym. I think working on all facets of your game, whether you're 6'5" as an 8th grader or the small guy, you know, I think working on everything, because you never know, you know, how much you grow or what position you'll be in. And basketball in this day and age is positionless on a lot of teams. So I think just working on everything. And then I just say really just getting in every day. I think that's super important. I know my experience since I've been here is everyone works out every day as much as they can without being detrimental to their body. So I think just that hard work and making sure you work on all aspects of the game.
You mentioned you played multiple sports. You were a heck of a football player, quarterback, defensive back, all-state. Why did you end up on basketball and not football?
Yeah, I think I like basketball more at the end of the day. Being from Montana, it's a lot easier to play basketball year-round because it's indoors. Football is kind of hard. It's not as great, and then I don't think I got to focus on it as much from a position aspect growing up. So I think I fell in love with basketball a little bit more. It's a lot easier on your body sometimes as well, so that's probably the reason.
I don't think I've ever talked to anybody that was a point guard and a quarterback. Did you find that those positions translate well and maybe correlate a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think the games correlate, just, you know, learn how to be physical and kind of dominant in that aspect. But I think just point guard to quarterback, I think it helps just being able to see the floor, the field, read defenses, all that comes together quite well.
So what's your excitement level now, being growing up a Husker football fan and the family ties and, you know, now coming here and being a Husker? What's your excitement level now to take in football games here this fall?
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, it's going to be great. I know they get packed as well as basketball and every other sport here. So just that community feel and the diehard fan base, I can't wait to see it, whether I'm playing or on the sidelines for a football game.
Another thing that Coach Hoiberg had said about you, and it wasn't just Coach Hoiberg, that I think a lot of people have said about you along the way, is that you're a flat-out winner, and you make winning plays, and you do whatever it takes to win. Where did that come from for you? Where did that start to develop that, hey, I'm going to win and do whatever I can to help my team win?
Yeah, I think it started when I was young with my dad and my sisters, and then as we grew up, just being competitive, playing little games in the living room when we're kids or running on the track, stuff like that. I think I took it really hard when I was younger and always get mad because they beat me all the time. So I think that helps me get competitive. And then my dad just kind of instilling that in me. You know, you always want to win at everything you do and compete and try your best and leave it all out there. And I think just with my trainers as well growing up, Steve Pitts, my trainer back home, is great. I think everything I did was competitive. So I think it really helped me.
Are you one of those that hate losing more than you love winning?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's most people at this level, but I definitely feel that.
Are you competitive in everything that you do, like even board games, card games, whatever it might be?
Yeah, I always want to win. I'll talk a little trash more in those games because it's more fun. But I definitely had to learn how to turn it off outside the court or the field when I was younger. But once you get older, it's kind of fun to be competitive with those things with your friends because most people are good at that type of stuff.
So when you're on the court and you're realizing, hey, I've got to do something here to help this team win, how does that mindset turn on for you? Like, okay, I got to do something here to give my team a spark.
Yeah, I think it depends on each game and kind of the flow. Like sometimes the team might be dragging a little bit with energy on defense and you just make a big hustle play or you get a quick steal, kind of pick the team up. I think things like that I kind of can bring to the table and look for. I think just with the years of experience, especially in college, I kind of know when the team's dragging, when we need a little pickup or when we need to get on each other or pick each other up. I think that's noticeable, and definitely with the 4 years experience comes into play.
And the leadership part of it too, coming into a new team, new program, how do you approach that? And, because they've said already that your leadership has really stood out. So how did you go about that and establishing yourself as a leader really from the start?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit harder when you're trying to learn everything, but I just try and be vocal more than anything and help some of the younger guys out. Again, I've been in this for a while now, more than most people. We kind of have an older team, so we got a lot of guys who will pick each other up. I mean, I've had people tell me what to do or I need to do this already, which has been great. But I think just being vocal and not being timid in anything I do, even if it's wrong, you can always correct, but just being all out.
This time of year is so important to building that chemistry and establishing things for a basketball team to be successful throughout an entire season. How does a team go about that? And especially when you've got so many new faces, so many newcomers, to establish that chemistry and really get to know each other kind of in a hurry, I guess, being that you guys are all coming in from different places and different times.
Yeah, I think it's different now with all the transferring and all that. I'm a transfer myself, so I think it's a lot harder probably now or more difficult in a quick amount of time because you have a whole new, or half a team is new every year. But I think for us, probably on the floor, I think our coaches have been great with everything we're doing, has been everything I was told and expect. But I think more off the floor, we've been doing a lot of stuff like going and doing team activities or whether it's charity stuff or whatever. And I think it's great to have those connections off the floor because that's how you build trust, and then it happens on the floor as well.
Absolutely. For you, knowing this is your final season, is there anything that switches for you with how you approach this year going into this year?
I think just be more aggressive. I think in the past I've passed up on some opportunities and been a little timid sometimes with certain aspects of my game. I think just keep working hard, go all out, and just see what happens.
Love that. Well, what else do Husker fans need to know about you?
I'll leave it all out on the floor. That's probably about it. I love it here. It's been great. I love Lincoln. I love Nebraska, and I'm super excited for this season.
Have you seen it all, just what the atmosphere was like throughout last season, a couple court storms, and how rockin' PVA was?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's definitely a recruiting appeal too. When you go in, you see on the film all the stuff, and it's real. I know from being a fan growing up and seeing all the history, because my grandfather at his house has a bunch of the historical stuff and flags and everything. So I've seen it with my own eyes. I've been to games when I was younger, and now to experience it myself, I can't wait.
Oh, great stuff. Rollie Wooster, welcome again to Lincoln. Thanks for spending some time with us, and we'll look forward to seeing you out on the court in a Husker uniform.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Greg, how great is that? Just, growing up a fan, ends up back here. But I love what he said, though. I didn't want that to influence my decision. I wanted to make sure that it was a good fit for me basketball, but then it all came together. Coach Hoiberg, when I chatted with him a couple weeks ago, boy, he raved about his leadership, how he's already been able to come into the gym and just been really instrumental in that. But it never hurts to have a veteran point guard that can do a lot of different things for you and help manage things, because that was one of the things I think was a struggle at times last year for this team, is not having a true point guard that can manage things in certain situations and in those tough moments throughout games. Having a guy like that you can rely on. But what a fascinating guy, and I think he's going to be a tremendous addition to this basketball team.
Oh, I loved him. I loved everything he said there. I did not know about the Husker history for that. And you talk about a point guard. We have two. I mean, Aaron Eulis and now Raleigh, and so last year, Nebraska really didn't have a true point. It's going to make a big difference, I think, for this team. Think about the athletes from Montana. Montana, Jessica, is one of the smallest states in the union. Think about how many interviews you have done with Montana kids in the last 2 years.
Yeah, and what's wild, too, is that a lot of them, you go back and they talk about how it's a little bit challenging to be recruited, and for him, he went to a couple different places and had to go prove himself and then get seen and then ended up at Utah. And then Quinn Clark, right, from Minnesota, he came to camp. He's Minnesota, right? No,
he's
Montana.
He's Montana.
Montana, that's what I meant. Montana. Yeah. He came to camp here, and he told me he wasn't really highly recruited, but was seen here at camp. So it is. We've done a lot of interviews with kids from Montana, but yet a lot of them it's been a journey for them to get here because the recruiting isn't as great in high school there as it is other places.
And I'm having a senior moment. The point guard on the women's team last year from Montana State, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The name is escaping me.
Yeah, if you wouldn't have asked me about it just now, I could have told you. Hold on, I'll find it.
Because she came, I don't know if she was originally from Montana, but she played at Montana State before coming and playing last year for the Huskers.
Darian White.
There you go.
She's from Boise, Idaho, though, but yeah, she came from Montana State.
Close. Yeah. Good. Maybe I'm not the only one that has senior moments. That was fun. I enjoyed hearing from Raleigh.
And we're
going to talk to a young lady.
We have joked getting through these newcomer series, it's going to take a while to get through all the men's team. That was one of several, but we are hoping to get a couple more of those guys coming up this week, and then volleyball players should start being here and be around. We'll get the other two there, and we'll keep plugging through these. But the men's newcomers might take us all the way up to the season starting.
You're right. We're going to go from Montana to North Dakota for our next segment. That's Emily Wong. She's from North Dakota. Folks, if problem gambling is burning up your money, there is a way out. Help is free and confidential for Nebraskans and their families. There's no judgment, just help. Go visit lifeafterbet.com. We'll talk to a Hall of Famer next.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here. I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all-electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Experience luxury and performance at Woodhouse Lincoln. From the sophisticated Lincoln Navigator to the sleek Lincoln Corsair, our lineup combines cutting-edge technology with unparalleled comfort and style. From selecting the perfect vehicle to securing the best financing options, our team is here to assist you every step of the way. Come visit Woodhouse Lincoln at 144th and Giles Road or online at woodhouselincoln.com and explore all our current offers going on now.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center. It's sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealers, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. A couple weeks ago, the Husker Hall of Fame class came out, and we are delighted to be joined by one of the newest members, Emily Wong, who is a terrific gymnast. In fact, the most crowned conference champion gymnast in Husker history. Emily Wong, congratulations. Tell me what this feels like.
Thank you so much for having me. It is a great honor to be named into the Hall of Fame. I was not expecting it, but it is a huge honor, and the class that we are going with is a group of great athletes, and I am just so honored to be a part of the group.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. A handful of these athletes were at school at the same time. Mary Weatherholt was there with you. I think maybe you didn't cross paths with Sue. He was a little bit older than you, but Jordan Hooper was kind of the same time. So it's interesting that this class has kind of an era theme to it. Tell me, how did you find out? Who called you? Give me the deets.
Heather Brink actually called me, and then she had Dan call in as well. So I did a three-way call with Heather and Dan Kendig. They called me one night, and they were like, we have some news for you. And they just told me that I was going to be in the Hall of Fame and when it was, and kind of gave me a little bit more details about it.
And, of course, Dan was your head coach at the time. Take me back to your high school days and give us a story of how you ended up being a Husker.
Yes. Originally, I'm from North Dakota, Grand Forks, so I went to a gym there, Red River Valley Gymnastics, and one of my teammates is Laura Evanstead, and she actually became a Husker 2 years ahead of me. So Dan had made some visits, and I'd gone to Husker camps, and so I just really, really enjoyed the coaching staff there, and every time I went to camp, I loved it there. And so, yeah, I'm very thankful that Laura was getting recruited by them. So that helped my recruiting process. And so I was recruited, and I went on a couple of visits to a few different places, but Nebraska felt the most like home for me. So that is how I ended up at Nebraska.
We're getting busy with Emily Wong, one of the newest members of the Hall of Fame, 2014 Big Ten Gymnast of the Year. On those visits, Emily, did you get a chance to kind of mesh with the team, and how big of a factor just were the feel you had around the other teammates go into your decision to come here?
Yeah, that was huge. For me, right, something that felt like home, something that was close to home, right, and it all just kind of came together because Nebraska felt just like that. The people that I came in with, Jamie and Deanna, right, we clicked instantly. And then the girls on the team, right, they made you feel just like you were at home. And coaching staff, they just provided what felt like everything that you needed for your future, and turned out to be true. And it was a great choice. And I'm so happy that I chose the University of Nebraska.
I should also mention you were a 2-time academic All-American, which is just amazing to be as good as you were in the gym and on the apparatuses as you were in the classroom. Talk about the assistance that Nebraska gave you as a student athlete. Just talk a little bit about your academic experience here in Nebraska.
Yes, they provide so much support, right? They give you the tutors, they give you the academic advisors, right? So that it fits your schedule, so you feel not overwhelmed, right? Because when you're going to college, you're off on your own, right? Trying to manage sport and school and life, right? They provide you the tools to help you with your time management. And so that helped me be successful both in the classroom and in the gym. So those were just great opportunities, and I felt like they provided that, and they let you know beforehand, before you got there, that they were going to help you be successful in any way that they could.
Give me some highlights of just moments you remember as a student here in Nebraska. Maybe you went to an event, a concert, just some of the highlights that you had that maybe didn't involve being in your sport.
Right. We did, one of the ones that I remember a lot, not just my sport, we did a Husker Distinction Council, was a group that we made on campus, and we did a big shutout trafficking week. So we kind of went campus-wide and did a big shutout for human trafficking. So we had speakers, and we put on different events throughout the week. I remember that just because it was so much fun to not only get the athletics involved in that, but also other organizations involved, and even just Lincoln local groups involved as well. So I remember that, and that was an awesome experience.
That's cool. Well, I want some memories from Mabel Lee Hall now. They don't train there anymore. In fact, it's completely different. They're over at Francis Allen's amazing training center. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it, but Mabel Lee Hall, when I mention that, what comes to mind?
The countless hours of practice, but also, right, spending time and getting to know your teammates, right? That's where you spend most of your days on campus. But even for me, when we first got there, they'd done some upgrades to Mabel Lee, and so I thought that was super fancy. And then, yeah, now seeing the new one, it's pretty crazy to see how far gymnastics has come. But yeah, I really enjoyed where we trained, and it takes me back, right, to the countless hours of practice and hard work that our teams put in.
It was a little intimate bandbox is kind of what Mabel Lee was at the time. Again, we're visiting with Emily. What's that?
No, yes, I agree. It was very intimate and very, especially when we had our inner squads and the fans would be right above you, right on you.
Yeah, kind of awesome. Hanging over the top on you there. 11-time All-American Emily Wong with us, one of the newest members of the Nebraska Athletic Hall of Fame. They're going to be honored on October the 4th. Update us on what you're doing now. What's life like now for you?
Right now, I moved to North Dakota about a year ago. We lived in Iowa before that, and I was doing physical therapy, but I decided to take a different route once we moved, and our sports psychologist, Dr. Woodman, at the time, when I was at Nebraska, he has his own business, Max Out Mindset, and I joined his team as an elite mindset coach. So I'm doing that part-time, and then I've got 2 kiddos and 1 on the way, so spending a lot of time with those guys, chasing them around.
Well, what ages? Boy, girls? What do you have?
A 5-year-old boy, a 3-year-old girl, and then 1 due in about 2 weeks.
Oh, congratulations, Emily. That is fantastic. Any future gymnast, you think, in the family?
Oh, we haven't started yet, but they do somersaults at home already, so we're thinking about putting them in there soon.
How excited are you for the Olympics starting here in a few weeks?
Oh, yes. Yesterday was a little stressful with the Olympic trials. That committee had a tough job yesterday.
Sure did. Emily, it's such an honor to talk to you again. I remember I covered your career when you were in Lincoln. You were amazing. So many fans loved watching you compete. You gave us so many thrills. I can't be happier for anybody as I am for you. I hope you're coming back October the 4th for the enshrinement.
Yes, we will be there.
Fantastic. Again, congratulations, Emily, on an amazing career and a well-deserved honor.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Hall of Famer Emily Wong with us on our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. They are your trusted auto partner, 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. More of the show coming up next.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Shop our exceptional lineup of SUVs at Woodhouse Mazda during the Mazda Find Out event, like the spacious and sporty 2024 Mazda CX-30, packed with advanced safety features and cutting-edge technology that offers peace of mind with every drive. Starting MSRP $26,415. Discover the 2024 Mazda CX-30 today in Bellevue or off 144th and Giles Road, or visit us online at woodhousemazda.com or woodhouseplacemazda.com and explore our current offers happening now. Serving our customers for over 20 years. This is Woodhouse Mazda.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hey, Husker fans, check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Sign up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks pricing on hundreds of items in-store and online. Go score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee is an official grocer partner of Husker Athletics, and it's your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Visit your local Hy-Vee today. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you here on a Monday Night Sports Night, back after our hiatus from last week. Well rested. Hope everybody had a great and safe 4th of July weekend, and we're starting to click off the days. The Big 12 football media days are tomorrow out in Las Vegas, the SEC next week, the Big 10 in 2 weeks in Indianapolis. We're getting closer, folks, to the start of the fall sports season. So fun to talk to Emily Wong. Jessica, I love this class. You talked to Jordan Hooper a couple weeks ago. Emily tonight. We are going to get Ndamukong. I think maybe next week it looks like we may have Ndamukong Suh. We're still going to talk to Mary Weatherholt and the other members of this class. But I love the diversity of the class, different sports. I think it's a really good class, and it was so fun to hear from her. Yeah, it's a great class. And, those are names that you've heard a lot and that have done so much for this program. And not just what they did and how they competed in their sports, but the all-around athletes that some of them are and how much they were involved in the community, some of the academics that they accomplished. It's that's it. When I was talking to Jordan Hooper about it, I know it's a big honor for them because you think about the legacy and the history and tradition and how many great athletes have played in all the sports here and have contributed in so many ways and gone on and done so many big things. I know it means a lot for them to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Some places the Hall of Fame might not be as big of a deal, but it's a huge deal here. And when you look at the long list of athletes and coaches that are a part of this really impressive Hall of Fame. Yeah, pretty cool. We have not forgotten Ndamukong, folks. We're tracking him down. We've got contact with his people, so we'll get the big guy on before we get too deep into summer. I think we're really close also to announcing this year's Nebraska Football Hall of Fame class. They have a big banquet, and they're honored on the field early, one of the early games of the season. That usually comes out in June. I got to believe July 8th, July 9th, got to be coming up at some point in time. We're also, I think, getting very close to the men's basketball non-conference schedule, which I think everybody's eagerly excited. We heard from Rollie earlier in the hour. I think that's coming close. So we're getting some newsy-type items that aren't too far away for us to be popping your way, and we'll certainly have all that covered for you here on Sports Nightly. Olympics start to 26, and Emily talked about what a tough job that the U.S. Olympic Committee had to do to pick those gymnasts. I can't imagine as good of gymnastics as there is in this country to keep it to the 5-6 member team. Man, you got to be the elite of the elite to make that team, and so that's going to be fun. They'll be the prohibitive favorites to do some really damage. A lot of gold medals in Paris coming up in just a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. You think about it, probably too, the next 5 would probably go to the Olympics and could finish silver. It's right. It's that deep, and if they are competing, there was obviously a lot of adversity, and you hear this gymnastics team talk about, redemption, we're out for redemption because they had the silver, they want the gold, but they were the clear favorites, just had lots of adversity. But the depth and talent for Team USA, and I heard a lot of that being said for the Olympics, both men's and women's, the track and field, that a lot of times the trials are a lot more stressful and a lot harder to go compete in than even the Olympics, just because the depth and the talent to even make Team USA is such a challenge. But I guarantee you that a lot of the 5 that were that were right on the outside looking in, and there were a couple that got hurt that I know that were projected to maybe potentially make the squad, but the next 5 could probably very much go and compete and be on the medal stand as well. The next 5 would be better than most of the other gymnasts that will be at the Olympics. That's just a fact. Yeah. I mean, they're that good. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. Jessica, we've had a couple of texts asking about when is our next AD show. We always give the ADs June and July off. We will resume those with Troy Dannon, and he is wanting to do these. So we'll have our next AD show in August. But pretty typical, we give the ADs June and July. If something big breaks, obviously, if there's some major story, Mr. Dannon would more than be happy to come down and do a segment with us. But we try to give the ADs a couple of months off. It's a 10-month kind of run, so June and July are off. August, we don't have a date yet for that. In fact, I was working today on our football coaches shows and our volleyball coaches shows, getting some dates, possible dates out to some of their director of ops to try to get that scheduled. That's always fun to do that. But Troy Dannon is going to do a monthly show, folks, but not until August, unless we have, again, big breaking news, which I think he came on with you for a brief time in May when there was some big issues facing college sports at that time, and I think he did a phoner from like Los Angeles or something.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll be at Big Ten Media Days, right? So people will probably be chatting with him there.
Yep.
But had a couple additions to his senior staff. One of them, the new SWA, and Kristen Brown. So I'm going to reach out and try to see if I can get her on. And but we talked to Haven Fields, was an incredible interview. That's out. So trying to get to know them. But yeah, we'll start hearing from Troy, and he's been great to come in and when there's news, wanting to share it here on the Huskers radio network, and yeah, so we'll get him on soon enough. He's about to be very busy.
Very busy, but also wants to be open and transparent with the fans, and certainly glad to see that he's willing to do that. We've had some ADs in the past here in Nebraska that just have not been comfortable doing that setting, but I think Troy's going to be fantastic in it, so we've not forgotten about him, folks. We're going to get him on. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. All right, weekend winners coming up next.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all-electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting major Macy Byers with Campus News. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is building the first federal research center for climate-smart precision ag at UNL's Innovation Campus. News of the $160 million USDA facility comes as Nebraska prepares to build the new N-Farms platform near Meade, which will be among the largest precision ag research sites for universities across the nation.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all-electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Final segment here of Sports Nightly on this Monday night edition. We have lost Greg. We're working to get him back, so hopefully he will be joining us soon. But we always like, oh, are you here, Greg?
I'm excited to announce that we're going to begin tomorrow night our position breakdowns. And the Jeremiah Searles influence on you, we're gonna start with offensive line and Donovan Raiola. How cool is that going to be?
Yeah, I feel like I can't do that. I mean, offensive line, that's where we got to start, right? But yeah, it's but that's such an important group, and they've got a lot of guys that have played a lot of football together, and it's a fascinating conversation. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, we're going to start with the big boys up front.
Look forward to that. That'll be in hour one tomorrow night. Donovan Raiola, that offensive line, with so much focus put on that for this football team. And hey, that's a lot. Those guys have played a lot of football. The Ben Scotts, the Bryce Benharts, Turner Corcoran has. I don't know if Turner will crack that starting lineup, but there's guys that have played an awful lot of football that are ready to go, and so hopefully that's a good sign for the Cornhuskers. So we're looking forward to that tomorrow night. All right, time for weekend winners. What's on your mind here for weekend winners?
So I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs and the first ever all-female broadcast with Beth Mowins, Elise Menaker, and Taylor McGregor. So they become the first in history to call a Cubs broadcast all women on that broadcast. And, you know, I love what Taylor McGregor said, which, by the way, Beth Mowins has been part of several firsts in her career, you know, and continues to just shatter the ceiling. And I know she said this multiple times that hopefully at some point she's no longer part of that conversation of being the first, but here she is, part of yet another first. But I love what Taylor McGregor said about just the representation and being able to see it, and little girls looking and seeing, hey, I can be in the booth, because she said when I was growing up, it was more the sideline reporting, and I'm the same way, and I love doing the sideline for our radio broadcast, but I never would have thought I would have been in this seat, you know, when I was in junior high and high school, that this would have been an opportunity for me. And so the more that those opportunities come, the more that, you know, there's young girls that you see it, you can be it. And so I love that that's continuing to happen. And I thought that was really cool of the Cubs, and another first.
Nice. I'm going with a couple of former Husker basketball players. We talked about it earlier in the show. Keisei Tominaga, Jack McVeigh, making their country's Olympic teams. Keisei for Japan, Jack for Australia. Such an honor for that. And there's a cool video with Jack being pulled into a room. The head coach of the Australian team gives him the news that he makes the team, and the emotions kind of pour out of Jack. It's really a cool thing. It's easy to find on social media if you haven't seen it. It's really cool. Jack was a fun guy when he was here in Lincoln and a fan favorite. But to be able to do that and to play for your country means an awful lot. And for any sport, I think, and we've got a lot of Huskers competing for other countries. They're athletes from Europe, or Keisei's case in the Far East, or Jack down under in Australia. So a really cool thing. But go watch that video of Jack McVeigh. It was really cool. I'm happy for those guys, and happy for all of our Olympians. I think we got like 13 or something like that, Jess, that'll be competing in these games.
Yeah, and counting. I don't think it's completely done. I did get confirmation from Matt Smith with the communications team. They're going to work and put together a place on the website where you can see which all Huskers are competing, where they're competing, when you can watch them, the full schedule. So all of that will be out, because I've been asked a lot, like how many Huskers, when, how, all of that. And we'll make sure to keep you updated here on the show as well. But we will have a spot on Huskers.com where you can follow along with all of the Olympians, because there are several of them. And with the time change and all of that, we'll make sure to keep you updated and posted on all of that.
Fantastic. So tomorrow night, Donovan Raiola. We're also going to hear from Kennedy Williams as Jessica continues her reports on new Huskers. Obviously, her mom's the head basketball coach. She's going to try to play two sports, softball and women's basketball at Nebraska. We'll look forward to that conversation. And we'll talk more about this bracket challenge that Midwest Dairy is sponsoring. You probably have seen it on social media, voting for some of the best moments of last year's sports seasons. A lot of them started at 16. We're down to 8. The voting's going on now for 8. We'll tell you more how you can get the votes and do that tomorrow night. That'll put a wrap on a terrific Monday show. Thanks to Russ for steering the ship for us tonight. Have yourself a great night. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Good night.
Discover a better car buying experience at Woodhouse Nissan.